Okay, Luis, I need to stop in here for a quick restroom break. You'll be okay out here outside?
Yeah, I'll be fine. Hey, bring me a coffee, some, salt and vinegar lays, and some cigarettes.
Sure. Don't open the door for anybody.
Just go, Tim. I'm not five.
Hi, ma'am. Where's your restroom?
You need a bath, Sutton. Restrooms ain't free.
Ah, sure. Okay. Can I get some smokes and where's your coffee machine?
You don't serve coffee past midday. It's almost midnight.
Okay. All right, fine. I'll just take these smokes then.
Code's 6660.
Oh, okay.
Where the hell is Tim? It's been 15 minutes. I just knew those tomatoes were going to do a number on him. We don't take EBT, sir. Okay. Hey, have you seen my friend? He's tall, gangly. He has the aura of a space cadet. Ah, yes. He muttered something about wanting to take a shit. Oh, okay. Got it. Well, I'll just, wait here. No loitering. Bitch. Wait, why is Tim smoking outside by the car? Tim, yoo-hoo. Hey, bud. Since when did you take up smoking?
Hi there. Are you from around here?
Yeah, okay. Give me a smoke. I'm dying out here.
You know, the mountains hold stories, stories of mystical beings. And when you don't pay attention, you end up being a story yourself.
What? Anyway, Tim, give me a damn cigarette.
Listen, fool, do not step into the mountain unless you want to be part of the stories.
Hey, you leave that brown boy alone. Ma'am, you shot my friend. That ain't your friend. That's a skinwalker. What? A skinwalker? Don't they normally change into animals and not people? Ain't your friend a dog on Grinder?
Hey, what's going on?
Tim? I thought you were just here. Where were you?
I told you it was coming out like lava.
Tim.
That groan is warranted because I think we had more outtakes in that sketch. Not that anyone's gonna know than in maybe any other sketch.
Well, like we said, we probably should record. I mean, we should probably release an unedited episode so people can really listen how much work we put into this for them.
Oh, we really do. Listeners, you have no idea.
Yeah, no, we got snubbed at the Golden Globes, by the way. We were supposed to win and we didn't. And I think that's unfair because we deliver high quality podcast material for you all. We try our
This
best.
is gold, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a new year. And it's some new old we're bringing you.
Exactly. Well, anyway, welcome to the Itty Bitty Horror Podcast with Luis and Tim. In this podcast, we discuss everything from horror movies to the scariest tales out there,
Ooh.
and a little teeny touch of racist clerk humor. She was racist. Oh my God.
That's true. That clerk was. That brief little comment was racist. I agree.
Yeah, and you know what's funny for listeners who are really big into horror movies? If you remember, there's a scene in Friday the 13th, Part 3, the 3D version, aka Tim's favorite.
No. And our real listeners will know that that is one of my least favorites, actually.
But there's a scene where they have this woman. She's a white woman, but she is playing a Latina woman. And she goes into a little grocery store, general store type thing. And of course, if you see her, you're like, oh, she's a white woman. But she walks in and the cashier just goes, we don't take no EBT. And I'm like,
Oh
did
my
they just hire her just to make that racist joke?
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess in a weird way, they were simultaneously depicting racism, but also enforcing it at the same time. So that's probably not the best joke.
Yeah, I know. Well, we want to thank our listeners who attended our Death Becomes Her watch party at Mother Tongue.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming. It was so much fun. It was a sold out show. Tim was there in spirit. When again, like I always do, I want to give a shout out to Jen, who is the owner of Mother Tongue. She is super supportive of the podcast, and we had a bunch of new people. And Death Becomes Her, that's just a classic. People loved it. A lot of first time watchers. It was so much
Yes.
fun.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you to everyone who came out. We do appreciate it. Seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, everybody. Tim, what's been up with you?
Well, let me think. Not too much has been up. It's been freezing here on the East Coast. I think we're literally going to be having a blizzard this upcoming weekend, which
I
is
saw that. Yeah.
yeah, so fun. It's actually 5 degrees outside according to my thermostat right now. So that's fun.
I think so. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a blast. I know. You know what's funny about that actually? I never see anyone building snowmen or doing snow angels. What has happened to our whimsy in this country?
I know people are just so desensitized from everything that's going on. If like children are probably telling their parents, or the parents are probably telling their children, like, "Oh, do you want to go outside and make snow people?" And the kids are like, "Mom, mother, look at the economy right now. It's crashing."
How could you be thinking about snowmen at a time like this, mother, with the economy and the labor market being what it is?
Do you not see the anyway? Yeah, it's like, geez, like, damn. Okay, well, fuck you. I guess I'm gonna go watch 13 going on 30 or something.
Now, why would you want to bring up 13 going on 30?
Timmy boy, did I ever tell you about the time? One time I wrote a tweet about Jennifer Garner and it went viral.
I am stunned at that. I did not realize you did that.
Yeah, it was funny because she was, and this is totally right. I'm sorry, listeners, but she was doing some interview with some other actresses, and one of them, her name was Regina, or is Regina King. And she just started talking. They were talking about like their ancestry and where they're from and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah, well, my family's from LA. And then Jennifer Garner's like, no, but where are you really from?
Oh,
And yeah, and this is like, girl, do you not know the history of this country? Like,
yeah, a little tone deaf on Jennifer Garner's part, I think.
she's probably like, I came from the Mayflower. Anyway,
Oh, do you think Jennifer Garner descends that far back?
I have no idea, but I did write this tweet about how like it's not her first time being low-key racist or just full-on racist. Because one time I remember like I used to watch a lot of Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
That was like after he was on Jay Leno, not like, anyway. And he had Jennifer Garner on. And she was talking about something I don't remember, but she was saying something along the lines of like, "Oh my God, like a bee stung me, or I had an allergic reaction, and my lips like bloated up, and blah blah blah." And then she said like, "I look like one of those women with those African women with the plates on their lips." And then she started making like a face, doing something really really stupid and problematic. I was like, "What the hell?" And you could tell that Conan was so uncomfortable.
Oh, Conan's like trying quickly to segue into a different topic.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, like saying that as a response. And then I tweeted about it, saying like, well, that's not the first time. And then it went viral. And I think I deleted the tweet because I just kept getting so many notifications. And then somebody else tweeted about it, but like I have the screenshots to prove it. And prove that was the original. Anyway, and it became like it added to the pile on her. And I feel bad because like I'm not a fan of bullying people, but at the same time, I'm like, girl, like don't be racist. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
Wow, that's so interesting. I can't believe that you had a viral tweet. I had a tweet that back when I was on Twitter that actually did pretty well, but I don't know. I wouldn't say it went viral, but it did get retweeted by one of the sharks on Shark Tank. So that's my claim to fame.
Yeah, no, I've had Zach Kreger, who is the director and writer, I believe, of Weapons. He retweeted my stuff when I was talking about Barbarian a while ago because that was his first movie.
Okay, well, look at us. We're kind of famous in a way.
Listeners, I'm sorry that we took this little detour. I might just even cut it out. So who knows? Let's talk about today's episode, Timmy boy.
Let's do it. I love it.
Yes. Well, for today's episode, we're heading into Arizona again to talk about the Nagloshi or the Skinwalkers.
Now, how do you say this? Because I want to get this right. The Nagloshi?
Yeah, Nagloshi. At least that's what I went on YouTube. I wanted to be respectful. I wanted to make sure that I pronounced it correctly. Of course, it's not probably I'm going to forget, so I apologize to our listeners. But we're trying our best. I'm sorry.
We're trying our best. Please don't tweet about us and get famous.
I know. Don't make us go viral for being ignorant twats. But anyway, Tim, do you know what a Nagloshi or Skinwalker is?
Okay, so the nickname for a Nagloshi is a Skinwalker.
Yes, that's the origin of the word. Like that's what it's called within like the Navajo Nation. But people in general, like English speaking folks, call it Skinwalkers.
I see. Okay, got you. No, I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Well, they're really like infamous, especially in the Southwest, which is part of our theme here. And essentially, it's a figure from Navajo tradition tied to witchcraft, taboo, and warnings about what happens when boundaries are crossed.
Ooh, but we cross a lot of boundaries on this podcast.
Yeah, you and I are Skinwalkers. How about that?
Oh, okay. We just are. We're just immediately right now.
Yeah, we are. To our listeners, these are stories that people still hesitate to repeat out loud. And by that, I mean indigenous folks. Not because they're spooky, but because they're meant to be taken seriously, which Tim never does.
Every one of our stories I take very seriously.
Yeah, too seriously. You turn into Scully. But yes, the only thing I do want to mention about this is like, obviously there's a huge difference between indigenous people who talk about these as folk tales or, real experiences and whatnot, and then people who are not indigenous. And again, I don't mean just white people, but like everybody who's not indigenous and decide like, oh, I want to go on a ghost tour in the Southwest and like learn more about this for fun. Right. And how like we have to differentiate between those two. And of course, when we talk about this, yes, we are a horror comedy podcast, but we're never going to go so low that we're going to be dismissing beliefs from specific cultures or anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover a story again from some rail workers back in 1889 that encountered a skinwalker. And if you want more stories regarding skinwalkers, then head over to our Substack. Over there, you'll find an extra story about a first-hand encounter with a Nagloshi from the perspective of a Navajo woman. You can find the link to our Substack in the show notes or under the Itty Bitty Horror Podcast on Substack. You don't have to pay for it because it's what, Tim?
It's 50% off.
50% off of zero. Tim, are you ready? Are you ready to explore the skinwalkers and have one of them possess you and take you to Walmart and, to shop for flip-flops?
Oh, I don't know about that. That sounds pretty scary. Maybe we should turn back now.
Okay, yeah, no, actually, I would be scared going to Walmart in general.
Exactly. The skinwalker part is fine.
Yeah, if you're at Walmart right now listening to this podcast, you know what? Good for you. Tim, buckle your shoes because we're about to rock and roll.
Oh, yeah.
In many parts of the American Southwest. Just kidding. In many parts of the American Southwest, there are stories people tell freely. And then there are stories people lower their voice for. Stories they hesitate to finish. Stories they sometimes refuse to say out loud at all. This is one of those stories. Among the Navajo Nation, there exists a figure so feared that many elders avoid even naming them. In their language, it's called Nagloshi, a phrase that roughly translates to, by means of it, it goes on all fours. Outsiders call it something simpler. They call it the skinwalker. According to Navajo belief, a skinwalker is not a monster born in the wild. It is not a ghost. It is not an animal. It is human, or at least it was. Anthropologists and historians who have documented the legend report that skinwalkers are said to be witches, individuals who deliberately broke sacred taboos in exchange for power. Power that comes at an unimaginable cost. Accounts describe acts so severe that they sever a person from their community, their family, and their place in spiritual balance. Because of this, the legend is treated not as folklore meant for entertainment, but as a warning. In stories passed down through generations, skinwalkers are said to possess the ability to transform into animals, most often predators. Coyotes, wolves, owls, sometimes animals native to the land, sometimes animals that feel wrong. Witnesses describe creatures that move too stiffly or too smoothly, or stand upright when they should not. Others claim skinwalkers can mimic human voices. Not impressions, not echoes, perfect copies. Researchers documenting modern encounters have collected dozens of similar reports from people living near or traveling through Navajo land. Drivers describe seeing animals running alongside their cars at impossible speeds. Campers report hearing someone calling for help from the dark, only to find nothing when they investigate. Hunters have spoken of animals that refuse to flee, staring back at them with what they describe as awareness. One commonly repeated detail appears again and again: the eyes. Witnesses describe glowing eyes, sometimes yellow, sometimes red, sometimes reflecting no light at all. Many claim that before an encounter, the land goes quiet, not peaceful, empty, as if every living thing has fled. This detail appears so frequently in reports that some note that it mirrors a predator in nature, but taken to an extreme. No birds, no insects, no wind, just silence. And then, movement. The legend moved from oral history into national attention in the 1990s with reports from a remote property in northeastern Utah, now widely known as Skinwalker Ranch. Journalists investigating the site documented claims from a family who said they experienced repeated encounters with a strange creature and unexplained events. They reported seeing a massive wolf-like animal with glowing eyes approach their livestock. They claimed it showed no fear of humans and did not react when shot at close range. They described cattle found mutilated in ways veterinarians could not easily explain, with surgical-like precision and no tracks leading away. Other reports from the property include disembodied voices, shadowy figures seen at night, and animals reacting with extreme fear for no apparent reason. Sure wasn't a fucking chupacabra.
So bringing chupacabras in here. Then again, you never know.
Yeah, maybe they turn into chupacabras.
Maybe. It's weird when, if you could think about this, a skinwalker could encounter a chupacabra, and who would win?
The skinwalker's like walking by, like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking fuck up this cow. He, slept with my girlfriend.
With my girlfriend.
I don't know, with my cow friend, who's a girl. Anyway. And then the chupacabra stands in front of a cow to defend it and be like, bitch, not on my watch. A little sling blade or something.
Oh, man. See, I'd watch.
Yeah, and then two other chupacabras come up behind the main chupacabra, and they have the little swing blade, and they start snapping, and they're like, da-da, 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 da-da. Sorry, listeners. We apologize for being stupid.
No, we don't. Don't include me in that. I don't apologize for that.
You don't apologize. You're right. Scientists remain skeptical. Biologists point to misidentified wildlife, stress, environmental factors, and confirmation bias. And it is true. There is no physical evidence that proves skinwalkers exist, but belief does not require proof to endure. Back with the Navajo tradition, the skinwalker is not discussed as a curiosity. It is discussed as a consequence, a reminder of what happens when someone abandons balance, respect, and community in pursuit of power. Some Navajo elders interviewed by researchers have stated plainly, the stories persist because people continue to experience something they cannot explain. And perhaps that's the most unsettling part of all of this. Many who claim encounters insist the skinwalker knew that they were there before they ever saw it, that it followed, watched, and waited. So if you ever find yourself driving at night through the high desert and you see something pacing your headlights, or hear your name spoken perfectly from a place no one should be standing, tradition says you should not answer, you should not follow, you should not speak its name, because according to the people who have carried the story for generations, some things hear you better when you acknowledge them.
Ooh, interesting story. But speak its name, it says, and you shouldn't respond?
Yeah, you should not acknowledge it, basically.
Completely counter, though, to what they say about ghosts, which is that you should acknowledge their presence in like a calm way, right?
Is that what they say about ghosts?
I think I've heard that. Like if you go into a room and you suspect it's haunted, that you should very calmly, kind of allow the ghost to be there and greet it, but not treat it like it's a super scary thing, right? I've heard that.
That's just a white people mentality. I'm sorry. If I were moving into a house and I hear that's a ghost there, I'm like, fuck no. Grab my suitcase and just like, dun, 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 dun. I don't know. I've seen those memes of like people who like hear a ghost and they just carry their suitcase outside. They're like, nope, I'm done with this.
Well, that's why you're going to be the one that gets hunted down by the ghost first. You're going to be like that nun in that movie that vomits outside of her car. That's right. I'm talking about Amityville Horror.
Oh yeah. No, that's a demon. Okay, there's a difference between demon, ghosts, and skinwalkers. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not.
So, what are your thoughts overall? Like, we talked a little bit about like there's a silence before you notice. And they're really just like this because these witches decided to break taboos within the community And then, of course, them mimicking names in the darkness. What are your overall thoughts? If you experience this, what would you do?
I mean, I have to say, thinking about the way this sounds, I would be terrified. I mean, that's the kind of thing you hear sometimes, right? You've been probably alone and you hear like, maybe you've heard your name once or you thought you heard your name, but because it's else. I mean, that's like a common experience, I feel like.
Yeah, I get super paranoid whenever I hear my name. And it's usually like my mom or my dad or something. So I immediately call them just to make sure that they're okay. Because, you hear stories and I'm just like, oh, oof, no.
Wait, what do you mean? What are the stories? Oh my gosh.
Well, but like sometimes people who have like premonitions or something and you hear somebody's name, or like you're walking and you see somebody who you shouldn't be seeing. And then you call them and then somebody calls who's like, her Uncle Teddy, her died.
Wait, that is real? How would calling someone help it though? Like that you call to check and then it doesn't happen?
No. So it's like the way it usually happens is you see, let's say you are walking in your apartment, right? And then you open your door and you walk outside into the, the walkway or whatever, and you see your Uncle Teddy there. You're like, Teddy? And then you turn around and then you turn back and he's no longer there. And then like 2 minutes later, your sister calls you. It's like, Tim, Teddy was decapitated by a wolf.
Well, okay, but wait, I thought that was in an X-Files episode.
It's based on that. Like Scully sees something and then people die or something. I forget how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was that she saw her father in a chair and then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly like that. That's actually a really good episode. But yes, Beyond the Sea.
Yes, Beyond the Sea. We are always referencing X-Files on this show, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Now we're just waiting for a
Twilight Zone.
There you go. I couldn't remember. I need to take some vitamins and minerals because I'm forgetting shit, mama.
You need to take some minerals as well.
See, that shows how much I know. Anyway, Tim, are you ready to talk about the main story today?
Oh, I am.
Ooh, okay. Well, get ready. Buckle your tits, boo.
I've never heard that expression, but anyway. So tonight's story comes from the YouTube channel Into the Past. And the name of the video is, in 1889, railroad workers claimed they encountered a skinwalker. This story has been rewritten for dramatic effect, but you can find the entire video in our show notes. In 1889, a crew of railroad workers pushed tracks through a remote stretch of high country. The job itself was ordinary. Clear rock, lay steel, sleep beside the fire. The work moved the same way it always did, measured in miles and days, in blisters and sweat. But as the line crept closer to a narrow ravine marked on company maps as Section 12, the land began to feel wrong in a way none of us could put words to. Not dangerous, not hostile, just watching. Local riders warned us never to answer a voice in the dark. That night, a voice called from beyond the tents, and the men who heard it knew immediately it did not belong to anyone in our camp. In the summer of 1889, I was 22 years old and poor enough to take any work that offered a bed and 3 meals. That was how I joined the railroad crew, pushing track through the high country between mesas and pine hills. The line belonged to a company out of Denver. Our camp sat in a shallow valley where scrub grass grew thin and stubborn, refusing to fully take root. The air was dry and carried dust into everything: clothes, food, and lungs. At dawn, the ground held the night's cold. By noon, the sun burned the back of your neck raw. The wind cut through the tents without slowing, as if fabric meant nothing to it. Most days, the only sounds were the clank of tools, the snap of orders, and the distant calls of animals we never saw. There were 22 of us on that stretch. Most were men who had drifted from one job to the next after the war, or after a long run of bad luck. Our foreman Briggs was broad-shouldered with a harsh voice and a face that never softened. He cared about schedule and steel. Past that, a man could drink himself senseless for all he cared, so long as he stood when the whistle blew. My bunkmate was Eli, Thin, careful hands. He had worked telegraph lines before the rails reached this far. He kept to himself during the day, but talked quietly after dark, and watched the edges of camp instead of the fire. Morgan was the opposite. Big, loud, laughing often, always testing his strength against anyone who'd answer. Tomas worked spikes with steady rhythm. He spoke little English, though he understood more than he let on. At the edge of camp sat another tent, smaller, set apart. An older man named Jonas lived there. His hair was gray at the temples. His eyes never rested. He knew trails, dry creek beds, and weather before it changed. The other said he spent years trapping and trading with people who lived farther south. He never confirmed it, but he listened when the locals spoke. We were there to cut through Section 12. On maps, it was lines and marks. Standing there, it was ridges, canyons, and silent slopes where noise seemed to fall away unnaturally fast. The first weeks passed in rhythm. Wake before dawn, swallow coffee and beans, march out, swing hammers until light faded. Return to camp, eat again. Some men played cards, others collapsed into bunks, boots still on. At night, the fire cast a small circle of light, and beyond it, nothing. The hills vanished completely. The first sign that this stretch would not remain simple came one evening near sunset. Three local men rode in on horseback, wrapped in worn blankets despite the heat. They stopped just beyond the firelight and waited without calling out. Briggs stepped forward, arms crossed, and demanded what they wanted. They didn't answer immediately. The oldest man looked past him, over the tents, over the tools, toward the hills where our rail would soon cut. His gaze lingered on the rocky ridge to the east. Jonas stepped in beside Briggs and spoke to them in their own language. Their shoulders eased slightly when they heard him. They spoke in low voices for a long time. The rest of us drifted closer, pretending not to listen. Morgan muttered they probably wanted money. Another guessed they were hunting, but none of us was right. When Jonas finally turned back, his expression was tight. The men were from a settlement beyond the hills. They had come to warn us about a ravine ahead. Not land rights, not hunting grounds. Something else. Something that moved through that place after dark. Briggs snorted, said the company owned the right-of-way, and no ravine was slowing us down. Jonas didn't argue. He kept his eyes on the older rider. The man spoke again. Jonas translated, slowly.
We are literally letting you know, be careful. There's something up ahead. And just shut up. We need to make money. The gold coin is losing value from the Dutch line. And we need to make money. They don't care. That's the thing.
We're building a railroad. Damn it.
We're building a railroad. That's the thing, right? That doesn't and not just America, but people who are super into who cares about the environment and who cares about demons and ghosts? I don't care about this. I don't believe that.
Railroad through this shit. Build a house over that cemetery.
Exactly. And they do that. I was like, you know what? You can't build here. My grandpappy and my grandmama are buried here. Ghosts. I'm like, who gives a shit? Your child is swimming in the pool and a little skeleton comes out. It's like, I'm the poltergeist. And then you have to invite a fucking little midget woman who says, this house is clean. Carol Ann, come over here. Carol Ann. That shit happens because we ignore the signs in front of us.
You're so right.
I know I am.
He said there were places where the boundary of the world grew thin. Places where things walked that were not meant to be seen. The ravine ahead was one of them. The thing had once been a person. Someone who broke a grave promise and became something else. Something that wore shapes that didn't belong to it. Something that fed on fear and blood. It could copy a voice, but never the way a soul sat behind it. Some men laughed quietly. Morgan said he wasn't afraid of ghost stories. Briggs grew impatient and told Jonas to tell them we'd be careful. The old rider listened. His jaw tightened. Before they left, he spoke one final time. If we had to cross that ravine, never answer a voice in the dark unless you could see the speaker clearly. Never follow footsteps that didn't belong to anyone in camp. If someone came back from the shadows looking wrong in a way you couldn't explain, remember that not everything wearing a man's body was still human. That night, I pretended not to care, but the old man's eyes stayed with me as I lay awake. When morning came and we marched towards Section 12, I counted the men in line more than once. The land changed as we approached. Shrubs thinned, soil turned dull gray. Conversation faded. Hammers still rang, but voices shortened. By midday, we reached a shallow cut that narrowed into a deeper ravine to the east. Jonas studied it long and hard. That night, he took a lantern and a rifle, said he'd circle the ravine. He never came back. What followed, the voice, the imitation, the thing that stepped into our camp wearing Jonas's shape, but not his soul. It unfolded exactly as I have written it here. No more, no less. We fought it together. We drove it back with fire. We killed it only because the night allowed it. At dawn, we burned what remained. We packed and left without argument. The company later rerouted the line. Officials cited unstable ground. None of us corrected them. I stayed on the rails a few seasons longer, but something changed after Section 12. I learned to listen for what others ignored, to watch the dark before stepping into it, and to trust warnings that came without proof, because some places are not meant to be crossed, and some voices in the dark are not meant to be answered.
Do you believe that because they took that detour, that was, they were like, nope, we're not going through that Section 12 anymore, and they built the rails, and it ended up being Tucson?
Yeah, I can't believe that. Tucson, the city that we know and love today.
Yes, Tucson, we love you. We've never been there, but, you know.
Yeah, we assume it's lovely.
Tim, what are your thoughts overall of this story of these folks who are there just to do minimum wage job, and they're just like, oh, God, I just want to go home, cheat on my wife with Bob, my next door neighbor.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and then you're having to deal with fucking mimics and skinwalkers.
It's probably the last thing they wanted in addition to their hard lives.
Yeah, exactly. So what are your thoughts overall of this story?
Well, I mean, honestly, this is, and I'm being very genuine here. I know we like to joke around a lot on this podcast. We do.
Yeah, we do.
What was that? Is that my little chorus line in the background?
This is me, a very like a doo-wop. Oh, ah, ooh.
Yeah, we do. Okay, well, anyways, we like to joke around on the podcast, but in all seriousness, I actually find this to be one of the scarier stories because, well, number one, we talked about this in the doppelgangers episode. There is something very creepy about someone who looks like something you recognize, but they're not quite right. You know, there's something wrong. There's something innately terrifying about that, right?
Yeah.
Add to that the fact that they mimic voices, and it's like, don't answer a voice that you can't really tell who it is. You know what I mean? Like all of that.
Yeah.
That's creepy. And I feel like I can easily see running into someone who you mistake, you know, especially like you're lit by firelight, you know, back then.
Yeah, 100%. You do not see in the dark as well. You're intense, whatnot, and then you hear, you know, somebody comes into the camp and it's just like, I'm here to cause trouble. Or something. Like, we gotta fight it. We gotta fight it with fire. You know, it's just like, imagine like I'm there, and I know they shapeshift, or not shapeshift, that's totally something totally different, but skinwalkers, I know that they usually take the form of animals, but let's say they take the form of a human, and I'm that human who's just like, you know what, I gotta pee. Hey, Tim, can you like make sure that nobody steals my pillows from the tent?
Right.
Yeah, and you're like, no, I'll take care of your pillow. I'm like, okay, cool. I like having my solo tent, but well, let me take my pills. Anyway, and then I go out to pee, and then I get stung by a bee, like, right on my nose.
Oh, no.
And then I walk back to the camp because I'm already, like, feel better because of my schnoz. And then I just go, hey, Tim, thank you for taking care of my pillow. And then you freak out. You're like, die, monster, Skinwalker, we'll kill you with fire. And you stick a fucking torch up my ass. And I'm like, oh.
But then all of a sudden, you're a nice lantern for the whole community.
I have a hypothetical for you. Are you ready?
Oh, I can't wait.
It's a hypothetical, so it's not real, okay?
Well, I know that. I know what a hypothetical
And you're just, well, I don't know. I feel like you're going to be like, no, Louise.
No, that sounds real.
My husband's going to find this and then slap me around. Okay, Tim, let's say you're single. Put yourself in that mindset.
Okay. Single mindset. Oh.
And somehow a dating app works on your phone, even though you and I are in the middle of the Arizona desert camping.
And I'm on the app still, even though we're doing that.
Yeah, of course, because you're like, we are going out there as friends, and you're like, oh, Louise is so boring. Let me check these apps.
Well, I know we're out there as friends. That wasn't my point. My point was that we're camping, and I'm somehow
Don't hit on
dating.
me. I'm in love with somebody else. Anyway, and then yeah, I know we're camping, but you're still like, you're still a horny dog.
Okay.
You receive a message from a guy that calls himself Harry Wolf Guy.
Okay. Well, right off the bat, I'd swipe left.
Well, let's just say you're into it, right?
Okay.
And he asks you to meet him in one of those outhouses nearby. I'm fast asleep, so you decide to check him out. You're like, sure, why not?
I'm not going to a goddamn outhouse in the middle of the night.
No, you're just like really, really like, oh, I'm single. I just want to try new things and meet people.
Okay, so I go meet someone.
Okay, and then you're making out hot and heavy when he starts to twitch. Startled, you move back as he is still grasping at your shoulders from the heated makeout session. The dude begins to roar, and you see his fangs growing before your eyes and feel his growing claws digging into your flesh as he says, time for dinner, boys.
Boys? Who's boys?
And then like a pack of wolves come out, and they're all skinwalkers. What do? We're going to tear this twink apart.
Oh, thank you for saying that I'm still a twink.
Tear apart this 40-year-old twink.
Who says I'm 40?
A werewolf, man. I mean, the skinwalker.
If he said, we're going to tear apart this 40-year-old twink,
Yeah, so,
I'd be so pissed. I don't even think I'd be scared anymore.
you'd actually be more offended about that than being almost...
No, I'd be more pissed with the comment. I'd be like, excuse me, take that freaking back. I'm tired. That's why I have eye bags.
They're like, oh, wow, time for dinner. And they start like gnawing at you and eating you.
Oh, no, I'd just be wailing and sobbing and kind of gurgling because I'm,
The blood's coming from your mouth, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, Timmy, in the episode, what are your overall thoughts on skinwalkers?
I like I said earlier, we joke around a lot on this podcast, but I am actually pretty convinced that this is one of the scarier tales, and I could really see this being something that would stick in your mind when you're out there. And I feel like if I was out there somehow, if I was visiting Tucson, who knows why, I would listen to the warnings, and I would not, I would be careful.
Damn, Tucson, Phoenix, you should take digs at these cities at the end of the episode, but
what dig did I take at Tucson?
You just said right there, like, I don't know why I would be in Tucson, or I forgot what you said, but you said something.
Well, I don't know anyone there. I mean, I'm sure there's a million great reasons to visit Tucson. I mean, surely.
You said the opposite last week for Phoenix, and you're like, Phoenix, you don't know your online reputation. Anyway, but, if you are traveling through the Southwest, for some reason you're camping, you just want to have fun.
Sure.
And you and your husband are like, hey, let's go on a road trip, let's just explore America. Oh, yeah. And you're traveling to the Southwest, and then you're in the desert. Would that be one of the things that you think about, like, legitimately? Or would you be a Scully and be like, ain't nothing real here? I mean, I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Am I the singer of the Ghostbusters theme? I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts or mimics or skinwalkers or nothing.
Yeah. Well, knowing me, I probably would be the Scully of the group, and I probably would be like, oh, come on, we don't need to worry about that. But that being said, I'm like half of a Scully. I would say I'm 80% Scully. There's 20% of me that is secretly quite superstitious.
Yeah.
Really worried about scary things like this. So that part of me might win over, honestly.
Yeah, so the 20%, right, that would like paralyze you, and you would feel like, oh shit, like, I don't know. Let's just keep our ears out. Make sure nobody calls our name when we're like out at the outhouse peeing or whatever, because you never know. Might be a skinwalker to me. Okay, well, if you enjoyed today's episode, then feel free to leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Please do.
If you'd like for us to cover a specific story or topic, then email us at ittybittyhorror@gmail.com. You can follow us on all social media under Itty Bitty Horror. Also, if you'd like to learn more about today's topic, then check us out on Substack under Itty Bitty Horror Podcast. The link will be in the show notes, where we're going to cover more of Navajo Skinwalkers with a first-person account from an indigenous woman who talks about her brother being spooked. Yeah, this is Substack exclusive only. Excuse me. And for listeners, Tim dogged all of you all, but you need to go to Substack and find out what he said about you.
I didn't do that.
Well, I said it then, and it's free. Come on, please.
Please, look at it. Listeners, we need you there.
Please. Anyway, Tim, what are we discussing next week?
Yes, listeners, we are continuing our Southwest series and going to be in Las Vegas and discussing ghost stories around there. So make sure to keep your everything on, because it's going to be crazy, laddie.
Thanks once again, and remember, even the smallest chills can linger long after the story's end. Duh.
Oh. What was that?
I got fucked by a demon. I'm so wild. I'm so kooky.
You really are.